ES Audio.
How's it going, guys? I'm John Weeks. This is the Evening Standard's Tech and Science Daily. Let's get into it. Coming up, the gigantic lightning bolt that touched the edge of space. But first, Mark Zuckerberg is rolling out some new features on WhatsApp that will make it easier for you to avoid your friends. The new update will let you hide your last seen status from specific contacts and leave a group without notifying other users. WhatsApp says it's also working on a way to block users from taking screenshots of view once messages. The new security features are being rolled out this month. Snapchat is launching a new supervision tool for parents to keep an eye on who their children are speaking with on the app. Both the parent and child need to accept the Family Center invite, which lets parents see the full contact list but not the messages. Snapchat said it's designed to replicate the real-life relationships in families, where mums and dads let their kids' friends come over, but don't monitor everything they say. Another heatwave, more extreme heat warnings, and the drought continues in the UK, and things are not looking good for farmers.
So the yield expectations are dropped and the quality is not quite as good. But also where we have grazing areas, there's just no more grass growth. So we're starting to have to feed the livestock we have with the provisions we hoped we were going to use in the winter.
Martin Lines, a farmer in Cambridgeshire, told us some produce has been turned away by supply chains just because it didn't meet standards for things like size, shape or weight. He told us the periods of dry weather we've been experiencing are damaging the very ground needed to grow our food.
Because of the drought, the grass has stopped growing, so it's not building that fertility up. And the landscape's so tinder dry now, there's a huge risk of fire. So we're really, really concerned not just about our crops, but the fire risk and the risk for wildlife in the landscape as well.
And Martin said action is needed now, so we're able to deal with these kinds of conditions in future.
This is going to get worse, but science is telling us it's going to get worse. And we really need to step up and start delivering solutions on a landscape scale just to have a hope of recovery when we meet these challenging weather conditions.
Now, when you step into the supermarket looking for something to buy, the packaging these days tells you all sorts. But now food packaging could soon come with eco-labels explaining the environmental impact that food item has had on the planet, according to a study. A team at Oxford University reckons consumers want to know how their weekly food shop affects the planet. They've developed an algorithm to calculate an eco-score for food and drink, based on things like how produce is grown, how it's typically transported, and how it's processed. Huge numbers of spider crabs have been seen across the Cornwall coast this summer, according to the Cornwall Wildlife Trust. Big groups of crustaceans have appeared in the shallow waters at popular beaches like St Ives and Falmouth, something that only happened once last year, according to records. Scientists said the crabs migrate to shallow waters each year to shed their shells before hanging around while their new ones harden. Experts say despite reports, the crabs are not poisonous and pose no risk to humans. As the beta for the latest iOS 16 update comes out, iPhone users have been raving about one feature that's been missing for years: a battery percentage on the status bar. Up until now, you've had to swipe down the control center to see the exact percentage. But the new update lets you opt to have that percentage on show, which comes up as a number inside the battery icon. The actual design has received mixed reviews so far though, with some calling it ugly and unreadable, while others have called it the best. Let's go to the ads now, don't go anywhere. In part 2, the lightning bolt touching space. And if you have exceptional sleeping ability, there's a paid job for you. Why not hit follow and give us a rating in the meantime? Welcome back. Scientists in the US have been using a 3D model to examine a rare lightning bolt that shot up above the clouds to the edge of space. Back in 2018, a violent backward burst of energy struck above Oklahoma 50 miles up towards the ionosphere and is considered the most powerful of its kind. It's called a gigantic jet, and this one was thought to carry 100 times more electric charge than typical lightning bolts hold. Researchers in the US believe the phenomenon is caused by something blocking the flow of charge downward, leading to a build-up of negative energy, which spills out the top of the cloud. It turns out people's ability to identify a baby's cry of pain is not built into our brains. Experts at the University of St. Etienne in France said the ability to distinguish between a cry of pain and a cry of discomfort is gained through experience of looking after babies. They found that current parents of young babies can identify the pain cries of a baby they've never heard before, where inexperienced adults are typically unable to tell. The study also found that parents of older children and those with professional experience of caring for kids didn't do well with unfamiliar cries. And finally, imagine getting paid to sleep. Well, a mattress company in the US is looking for someone with exceptional sleeping ability to come and work for them. Casper is hiring people to professionally snooze and create social media content showing off their experience as professional sleepers. The role includes sleeping in its stores and in unexpected settings out in the world. They say successful candidates will be allowed to wear pajamas to work and have the flexibility of a part-time schedule. You're up to date. Come back at 4 p.m. for the Leader podcast, where we bring you the latest news and analysis from the Evening Standard in London. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Catch you then.